85. Be considerate. Conscience shows the right path. Use your conscience to solve your problems. A conscientious man sees a thing as it is and understands it properly irrespective of its exterior appearance. He is really wise who looks into a matter deeply and is not cheated by its outer appearance. A man's beauty, honors, status and full-fledgedness of his religious and worldly matters come from his conscience. No quality other than experience is more important than conscience. Sensitivity of a man's conscience should increase with the increase of his knowledge. Ignorance is worse than poverty. A man's peace comes from his conscience. A man is responsible for himself, so he should examine what he has done. A conscientious man never feels anxiety. He does not do anything which is indecent or creates anxiety. Conscience means to speak the truth and to satisfy others. A conscientious person keeps himself away from outrage others and acts intelligently. A non-conscientious man makes injustice to others. He pushes himself to destruction when faces a danger and remains away from good acts without any reason. Conscientious persons look into their interests with the eyes of their conscience. Allah has created nothing better than conscience out of His whole creations. Allah makes exchanges with conscience only. Allah has made His orders and instructions obligatory and has left the rest on human conscience. Following obligatory instructions means reserve of award. Conscience means to unify and to distinguish the following things as applicable. Those are belief and disbelief, religion and atheism, worshipping of Allah and negligence, Islam and negligence, to follow and to oppose the instructions of Prophet Muhammad, faith and doubt, honesty and dishonesty, truthfulness and enmity, politeness and egoism, wisdom and ignorance, ignorance and poverty, shame and shamelessness, charity and misery, mercy and cruelty, cunningness and foolishness, danger and security, justice and injustice, honor and dishonor, obedience and disobedience, advice and envy, efforts and foolish, light and dark. Man considers an abstract thing more valuable than a material one, for example ethics more than gold, honor more than life, name and fame more than oneself. There is no reason to think that whatever is new and attractive is valuable. The idealistic examination of the mechanical structure of principles, arguments, beauty, state, worldly objects and occurrences is values. Such valuation can only be felt by conscience. Man's sense of value is reflected through his social, institutional and personal activities. Whatever we accept, with whom we make relation and what we reflect is our sense of value. The principles which conduct our activities are called our values. Personal values and such positive attitudes like judiciousness, honesty, sympathy etc. build up an ideal society. Sufferings of a nation start when attractive but worthless opinions become more popular than values and justice. Whatever is believed and practiced by most of the people of a society is called social values. The sense of value which holds the changes of a society, justifies, considers and analyzes it and holds justice, welcomes prosperity and flourishment of people is a positive sense of value, for example equity, democracy, cooperation, feminism, equal participation and tolerance. Personal, family, organizational, state, everywhere sense of values are maintained. It is formed through a long process and it is changed through a long process as well. A wise man leaves the old sense of values and changes himself with the change in society. A particular matter analyzed by different persons in different ways, it is due to their different sense of values, viewpoints and consciousness. Sense of values is an unseen power which leads the society through a particular system and insists man to follow the systems. Sense of value differs with the difference of taste, time and place. Value of things related to a man's personal pleasure is merely a personal matter. A person evaluates an entity. Value does not have any commonly acceptable idea. Power of satisfying a personal feeling remain with an object itself. Its matter of valuation and the nature of valuation are proved by the entity himself. Valuation is personal and objective. Anarchy signifies an individual's an erosion, diminution or absence of personal norms, standards or values, and increased states of psychological normlessness. If conditions changed quickly, such as during Great Prosperity or a Great Depression, the social system came under pressure and the erosion of existing norms without clear alternatives led to dissatisfaction, conflict, and deviance. Anarchy as a social disorder is not to be confused with anarchy. Anarchy denotes lack of rulers, hierarchy, and command, whereas anarchy denotes lack of rules, structure, and organization. Anarchy means absence of government, a state of lawlessness due to the absence or inefficiency of the supreme power, political disorder. The proper knowledge of a conscience is the way to peace. Exercise of conscience is the way to drive away ignorance. Remember, all your thoughts and actions, good or bad, will affect you accordingly. Mind that happiness eats up your virtues and unhappiness eats up your vices. Conscience is based on three things, those are body, mind and attitudes. Sense of justice, intelligence and conscience teach a man to be polite and obedient. Inherent regulate a body and conscience regulates a mind. Everybody should follow the path according to his conscience. This is also advised by different religions. Don't ye be ignorant and unconscientious. The delicate effect of a good conscience keeps a man's body well disciplined and aristocratic. A man can select the good and the bad ways for himself, and he himself is responsible for his mistake and faults. Exercise of humanity is the conscience. Morality and conscience act within the periphery of social regulations. A good conscience makes itself aware of the feelings of oneself in others and of the reality and consequence of a situation. An intelligent man thinks before his act. They refrain from act which will go against them. Everybody carries some burden in his daily life instead of his conscience. Blindness of eyes is not a fault, but blindness of conscience is bad. They have a black and ugly heart. Their feelings are blurred and dark. Before doing anything we should think over its past, present and future. A great conscience remains asleep in a thunder. The real truth of a man's life is pathos, and his conscience keeps peace with it. One thing is the loneliest, it maintains its individuality during all ups and downs of its life. It is a conscience. Conscience is the voice of a soul, and inherent vices etc. are the languages of a body. Conscience is always alert even when there is no law. A conscientious man suffers from a sense of guilt all the time. Conscience warns a man about the danger of doing a wrong thing. Sense of vice and repentance vary with the variation of the ideologies of one's parents, nearest ones, relatives and teachers. Conscience makes all of us cowards. If you want to be a good man, always you are to remember that you are not a really good man. The most dignified definition of human being is that they are conscientious beings. To survive during crisis, human civilization should stand on a good principle and truth. And before doing so, mankind should think over, practice reasoning and be conscientious. That is good by which no harm is feared. A non-conscientious man regret in many ways. Religion of hundreds years is meaningless to a non-conscientious man. Conscience teaches a man to be religious. Alertness of conscience is the self-realization. A man is honored by others if he conducts himself with conscience and wisdom. A person is the center of conscience. No feeling is there without a person. Reasons and conscience express themselves depending on a person. A noble heart is better than all the heads of the world. A transparent conscience is such a mirror where you will find the reflections of all your activities. There is no advisor greater than conscience. Conscience is the symbol of all the presence in mankind.